Hey guys, it's Grauph Nerdmuma. We got a Aurora reaction,
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah, something a little different. This was recommended on a past video, and it was Aurora's Glastonbury Guide to a Peaceful Life, which we thought would be nice today. We had just kind of a gross
Oh, it's been
day.
flood
We've been
watch for days
flood
now.
watching. Our road decided that it wanted to create a natural spring somehow, and had road work guys come out. So it's just been a day. So I thought something like this would be nice and fun. Um, Full disclosure, we did attempt to record another Aurora out of context from the Aurora's Warriors.
So we forgot to record.
We did hit record.
We're recording this time.
It had been a long day at that point, and we were like, okay, let's just record this at the end for a good laugh, and we never hit record. So, moment of silence for that missing video. But go watch it if you haven't, because that's a fun one on their channel.
That one too. Yeah.
So yeah, you ready for some guidance?
Peace. More peace
More
to
peace.
our pretty much peaceful life.
People often ask me how it is to be me, which I find to be a very odd question. But then I sit down and I think about it, and I think the biggest difference between me and many people I meet is that I'm extremely free. I've never really cared about what people think or what is right to do, what's wrong to do, because I don't see any reason to stop myself from fulfilling my impulsive thoughts or doing whatever I want to do. I mean, it's quite a good life when you're free, and it's kind of weird because it's this invisible force stopping people from following their instincts and from doing what they want, but they can.
You have any idea how much I wish I could just shut up that little voice in my head that tells me, no, don't do that. I'm getting better for sure, but it's for real there.
I think it's so. I mean, it took me decades to learn to just like give up all that the concepts I was taught, and certain ideals and things like that. Just realize like you're an ape. You got a one life run on this. It's like hardcore. You die, it's done. But enjoy it. Do something.
I think a big change
It's
was
limited time.
for me was having the little one in there. I mean, at the point where it's like, I've already done the hardest thing that I'm probably ever gonna do. I literally had a person cut out of me. What else could the world bring at me? Like, come on. I definitely noticed a shift in my outlook on life and just living more. And also just being around something that is constantly just living in that moment. That beautiful thing about being a 3-year-old is that you are just being now.
I'd have even some like the trauma, combat trauma would makes me live harder on this side of it because you feel invincible up until the day you're like standing face to face with that. Everything after you're just like, oh shit, yeah.
Well, what can they do to you now? Yeah. And also just the way she's sitting, queen.
I would recommend anyone to exist alone in a quiet place like nature. It's a very good place to become a philosopher, to really think through things and figure out things. Mountains are very good to gain a different perspective, I find. If you go up there, it's a physical thing where the perspective changes and you realize how big the world is and how small you are and how small your problems might be as well.
Interesting that we chose this now. Like, we finally got out outside
Our back patio.
to
So.
where we can just hang out there a bit more, and it has been so incredibly wonderful and peaceful. We've even got a bird that has built a nest where you can hear the babies getting fed when
And
mama brings the phone, and it's just what she said there. It's lovely.
And they don't care that we're there anymore.
Oh yeah, they
just
figured
fly
us out
in and
now.
feed and fly out, and you hear the chirping.
There's definitely some peace to just really experience in nature, and I feel so incredibly lucky that we have our space that we can do that, because not everyone can do that, especially if you live in a big city.
Oh yeah.
I would recommend people to explore dancing, because dancing, of some reason, seems to be an embarrassing thing for most human beings, but it's such a beautiful thing. And I think, the worse you look when you dance, the better it is. The more beautiful you look to the world, because the world can see that this person is free. And freedom is a very handsome thing to wear, I think. Okay.
Again, something I'm trying to get better at. I wish I was still the little girl that just would dance like no one's watching. I used to be very good at that. I don't know when it stopped or even why. But yeah, that's definitely I think one of the few places that I really felt comfortable dancing was the club we used to go to in Jacksonville, a true goth club where you would have every kind of person in the book. And I absolutely loved when we saw the one guy that he looked like your best friend's dad. Like, he had the full-on like khakis and short sleeve plaid shirt, but my God, was he dancing like no one was watching? And I was just like, yes, you sir have it figured out.
Eclipse.
In the midst of all the goths dancing like the goths do, and there's a freedom to that though. Yeah, it was such a freedom to that. It was one of the only places that, actually the only place outside of my own house that I felt like I could actually do some dancing, and no one was judging me because everyone was just there to have a good time.
Mine was raves in my 20s.
I still wish I could have seen that.
God, every weekend finding a new DJ spinning somewhere.
I think it's because I know you were a skinny bastard before I met you, but you've always been just more like broader in the shoulders, so it's hard to picture that body type with rave dancing.
To try out nature, to try just how it is to be either in a forest alone, or on a mountain, or on the sea. Because I feel like those are the three big open spaces that the world can offer us. The mountains, the forests, the fields, and the sea.
Speaking of raves,
what calms me down a lot is rave partying. I love going to rave parties, and I love to go out and dance and just stay awake all night. It's one of my favorite things to do. Alone also is healthy to experience life alone. I think it's very important for eternal growth, because you learn things about yourself when you have no one to rely on but yourself. And then the next day go and sit in the forest. It's good. I like to have both extremes of life close to my heart.
Right, just go sit in a forest, just do it.
I would recommend people to just make the choice. Like tomorrow, when you wake up and you say, okay.
I am curious what nature is in the Norway forests, because
Oh,
here in
animals.
Florida there is a bit of scariness to it.
Yeah.
Like, there are some places
We have
where
things that will
you
eat
can't
you.
just go sit in a forest. Like, you got to prepare to go sit in the forest. But in England, I never grew up with that. Like, the worst thing that was going to happen if you went out in nature in the UK was that you're going to get wet. So coming here and
Florida, you could die.
having to worry about spiders and ticks and snakes and stuff was a culture shock for me. One of my old bosses used to make fun of me every time I got scared of a spider, and it's like, well, I grew up in a place where they didn't have the chance of killing me. It's a bit different. So I wonder if it's similar in Norway, whether there's just a bit
to wander.
safer as far as just the general forest wilderness goes.
I'm gonna do whatever I want today. And if it's within the frames of society, like showing up to work on time, you can still handle the world just the way you want to. Out here with the wind, is okay? I think we're much stronger than money. We should be. And I think we can be. I think there's a lot of hope. It's not a hopeless thing. It's a very hopeful battle, I think, because luckily we've discovered that Mother Earth is dying just before it's too late. So we're on this beautiful place in time and space where it can either go really good or really, really badly. And it would be a nice thing to have on our shoulders, I think, we were the generations that saved the earth again for the hundreds of generations for people to come. We can either be the ones that destroyed it or that saved it, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, that was lovely. Definitely. I wouldn't say there's anything like new. Like, it's sort of things like I either
For us,
think I've applied or definitely want to apply, and I'm conscious of that. It's something that I personally need to work on as far as internal growth goes. But that's just, and it's more than talking with her hand. She's like actually dancing as she's talking. It's lovely. Anything you want to add, Butch?
Solid advice. I mean, that's stuff we pretty much do live by. Make your own rules. Be free. Don't follow the herd. Don't follow the money.
It's been interesting to see just how people are starting to view things differently since COVID and going into lockdown, and realizing
Gave people
that
time to think.
there's more to life than the grind. And ultimately, at the end of the day, who the fuck cares what anyone else thinks, as long as you are not hurting anyone, you've got a roof over your head, and you're just or not, if it's your choice. You don't have to have a roof over your head, but you're where you want to be in life, I guess.
Is that the grind like a misconcept? Don't grind for someone else. Don't go slave away at a factory to get by and do nothing and be their tool. Do something for yourself, even if it's like writing a book or learning to play the piano. Like,
I think that's been the beautiful thing about the internet, with all the hate that it gets, the amount of people that I'm seeing that are living their best lives doing what they are passionate about, and
yes, following your passion.
Legos, just a completely different fashion. Like, there's a guy that I follow that does cottagecore, which I'd never heard of, but he finds these beautiful like vintage dresses and just loves to do these like fun little fashion things, and it's just so great to see people really coming into their own and share. Yeah, because in wherever you are, you might not find someone that shares your passion, but when you can share it with the world, then if you might be able to find that one person.
Oh yeah, the internet expanded like all our little bubbles of reality that we would have had, like newsprint reality back in the day and like local television broadcasts. You were only fed your local, like what everyone believed in that area. Now that the internet exists, you can find out what, kids are studying in other parts of the world or what they believe, or it's just all the information is present. You just
The
have to
amount
go
I've learned
find
just
it.
because someone came from a different place that I did has been wonderful. So yeah, I think that's that was nice. A little pick
Oh
me up,
yeah.
and always a joy to listen to Aurora say or do anything. So anything else like that, any recommendations would be much appreciated. Really enjoy that. All right,
Okay.
I think so.
All right, keep grinding, guys. Do your thing. Just keep grinding.
Bye.